Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the Toon Review YouTube channel for tonight's transfer show. And, of course, any latest news going on with the club. Of course, they're in America now, ready for the 3-game summer series against the other teams in the Premier League. Sadly, though, we have to start off the show with some very, very sad news. Somebody that has been a subscriber to the channel since I think 150 subscribers. Stu Flyboy Ray has unfortunately passed away in the last 24 hours. He was suffering from a lung condition, I believe, and had complications, and has sadly left us. I did contact Steve Wraith earlier on around 4 o'clock tonight because he was a big fan of Steve's show as well. And Steve dedicated the show to him tonight and said some lovely stuff at the start. And we're doing the same tonight, dedicating this show to Stu and his family. He's always been a big part of this channel. He was a joker. He was a great guy. Met him a few times. Always had a smile on his face. Always willing to have a chat. But he absolutely loved this channel, and he loved the people in it. I.e. us three, the behind the scenes, but the viewers as well. He always used to interact in the chat, and he was just a great all-round guy, absolutely fabulous guy who stuck by this channel from the very start and always had a joke. He was always putting jokes in. Some of them were horrendous, but he always put jokes in the chat. He was always wanting to make people smile, just like he was. He was definitely a character. And it's a very, very, very sad loss to not only this channel and obviously Steve's, but the Newcastle fan base as well. He was a massive Newcastle United fan, and he loved every interaction with fans and channels and things like that. And it's very, very sad news. And again, it's somebody, one of the good ones, taken way, way too soon. And we can only wish his family and friends our thoughts and prayers, and I know it's a very difficult time for them, but hopefully time will be a healer, and they can look back on Stu's life and think, yeah, what an absolute corker of a guy, what a great man, and a funny man as well, who always wanted to put smile on people's faces, including ours throughout the show with his jokes, with his wit, with his comedy. That's how he was in real life. He was a character and he was a joker, and he always had a smile and good things to say about everybody, apart from Steve Bruce, because he's renowned on both this channel and Steve's channel for his hashtag Bruce out, and his comments on Steve Bruce at the time were absolutely hilarious, and he will always be remembered for that. Something really stood out with Stu, but he's going to be a massive miss on this channel. Amongst the chat, I see loads of nice things coming in on the chat about him now. Billy, do you want to say anything? Because obviously you've been on the channel a while, and obviously you've interacted with Stu quite a few times. Yeah,
lots and lots of times. Even before I started hosting and co-hosting, was often in the same chat as him on different channels.
Yeah,
always was a friendly guy, funny guy. A massive hatred of Steve Bruce. Every show we did, at the end, you can guarantee there'd be a comment which says, "Do a few more hours, man." Every time, every single time. And when the time comes for Steve Bruce to eventually shuffle off his mortal coil, and if Stu's anywhere near the pearly gate, there's no way he's getting in there, because he'll say his immortal catchphrase, "Bruce out." No chance of him getting in. Absolutely no chance. But condolences to his family and friends. Heartfelt condolences as well.
He was in the chat, Alex, all the time, and had some lovely things to say about us and about other people, and always the joker of he used to love interacting with the guys in the chat on the jokes and stuff like that, just how he was.
Yeah, it's a difficult one. It is, because we've known him for a long time. We get the opportunity to meet lots of viewers of the channel, and when we go to St. James's Park, you're all very kind and come and say hello, and it's a privilege and an honor, and it hurts, and it's one of the only drawbacks of doing something like this is we get to know so many of you, but the more people you know in life, the more you're going to come across those statistical, people having accidents or unfortunately passing away, and it's probably the only drawback of doing something like this is we know so many people. Well, it's just very sad. It's very, very sad.
Yeah. I know Rachel's quite devastated as well. She's known Stu for a long time as well. Julie, who used to be a mod on this channel, she knew him very well. I've spoke to Julie and I spoke to Rachel, and it's sad that really sad that one of the good ones has to go again. It seems like the good ones are always taken too soon. But he loved his life. He loved the time he was on this earth. He loved it. He had plenty to say on plenty of things, but normally in a jovial way. He was just absolutely hilarious at times. And the times I met him, he was so complimentary about the channel. The three of us, the mods. He loved everything about it. Even when he was at work and he shouldn't have us on, he put us on all the time. It just an incredible guy. And my heart goes out to the family. We're all devastated here, but hopefully Stu can look down and watch on with Dave and everybody else who we've lost over the last few years, and hopefully have a wonderful season. And the lads will do them proud, I'm sure. But unfortunately, we had to start the show tonight on that news. But we are dedicating this show to Stu and his family. So rest in peace, my man, and fly high up there with the others. We'll miss you very, very much. Chippers, thank you very much for your £20 super chat. Simply with hashtag Bruce out. He was renowned for the hashtag Bruce out, and I think he'll always be known for that. And we can think back to Stu whenever we think about the times when it was coming to an end for Steve Bruce. We can always look at the comments that Stu used to make on other channels and this one. When I was having my rants about Steve Bruce, he was always there with some funny comments about him, and he led the charge, shall we say, for Bruce out. It was, I'm seeing some of Stu's jokes already in the chat. Jason says, "What did the fish say when he hit a wall?" Damn. Some of the really cheesy ones that came from Stu, but unfortunately, no longer with us. But we'll always remember him. Timmy says, "Seen rumours today that Newcastle are looking at Fashion Sakala from Rangers in a swap deal with Ryan Fraser and cash." Not sure about that one. Now, we are going to deep dive a little bit into Harvey Barnes tonight. Not quite yet, but we will. But as usual, guys, if you do enjoy tonight's show, please do give it the thumbs up. And if you're new to the channel and you like what you see, as of going live tonight, we're only 150 subs away from 22,000 already. It seems like yesterday we were celebrating 20, but now we're heading towards 22, another 150, and we're there. So please do hit the subscribe button, which is completely free to do so, and also the notification bell, which will let you know when we go live or we upload any future videos to the channel. And you can do exactly what Chippers has done tonight by donating to the channel. I'm going to see if the channel itself can get in touch with the family and put something towards a wreath or something like that for Stu as well. So we're going to try and do something like that. I've got I think it's his brother or some of the family details. So I'm going to get in touch with them and see what we can do as a channel for them. Just hit that $sign at the bottom of the live comments, and that will take you through to a payment method. So thank you in advance for that. And you can, of course, follow us on all our socials. All of the social media sites who are on there. And of course, Patreon. If you want some extra podcasts from the Toon Review to listen to, there's some great stuff on there from Billy and Tom, from me and Alex. There's lots of good stuff on there. So the link is in the description if you want to go and click on that and have a look at the Patreon page. Now then, one player that has been heavily linked to us today, guys, is, I know, a player that, Billy, you're very... the times you've seen him, you've spoken about him very highly, and that's, of course, this guy, Lewis Hall, the young left-back from Chelsea. Now, the times I've seen him play against us, it's been absolutely incredible, the feedback that we got, and watching him, Billy. Just before you do that, we do have a super chat that's come in, an incredible super chat from Ian McKenna, £100. Thank you very much, Stu. That is unbelievably kind. Sorry, Ian McKenna. He said, put this to Stu. £100. Thank you, Ian. That is unbelievably generous. Incredible. Thank you very much, Ian. Yeah, so actually, I'm getting confused here because I've got you in the wrong places. It's like Ant and Deck. It's confused me on the screen. Billy, you spoke very highly of Lewis Hall over the past.
Yeah, every time I've seen him, he belies his age. He's a teenager, but he plays like he's been playing the Premier League for years. You know, he gets up and down that left flank. Very, very attacking left fullback. Very good in defence. Got lots and lots of potential. And an ideal signing for us if we could get hold of him. I just don't see Chelsea getting rid of him, if I'm perfectly honest. But if we could get him, it'd be a brilliant signing because this kid's going to be a massive star. No doubt about it.
Yeah, Alex, a very attacking left back, actually. I've seen a few clips of him again on YouTube just before we came on, and he's a player. He likes to get forward, but this kid can defend as well.
Yeah, I mean, Billy and I did the watch along for the Chelsea game, and I think we probably spent 10% of the entire thing just talking about Lewis Hall. He was a nightmare. He was very difficult to contain, and we've got Miggy and Trippier on that side, and he's just really, really tidy. He's a solid prospect. He's still 18 years old. They'd be mad to let him go. It's somebody who's going to be very, very. If we end up with sort of, I forget his bloody name now.
Livramento.
No, the other one. Ashby. So if we've got Ashby, Livramento, and Lewis Hall on our books, all of a sudden that's looking quite filthy for the future in terms of our fullback depth and the strength of it. I don't know if you want to see Lewis Hall's statistics from last season, but he was rather impressive.
Yeah, just 2 seconds because we've got a 65 Swedish krona super chat from Peter Bjordford. Borrow money from pessimists. They don't expect it back. Hashtag Bruce out. Yeah, absolutely. Another one there. Yeah, Alex, do you want to pop him up on the screen? And there he is. I don't know when that profile picture of him was taken, but I have a feeling that was taken quite some time ago.
Yeah, it doesn't look like that anymore. But so it is. You've got to take this with a pinch of salt because it is only 654 minutes of data. However, it's not bad. If we look at the pie chart for you, it's rather good. It is rather good. Shot volumes through the roof for a fullback. Where's my things to break down what it is? It doesn't even say it. So defensive statistics in the red, and then offensive statistics. I'm going to go back to my bar graph, not my standard graph. I much prefer this. So yeah, you can see it. Defensive outputs through the roof. He's 5'10". He's not too small as a fullback. His aerial duel rate is okay. Could improve. He's probably going to get better as he gets more physical as he ages. It's just really, really good. Shot creating actions for a fullback is really good. These are elite statistics. You've just got to take it with a pinch of salt because it's a very small sample size. And then when you compare who he's profiling, like you've got Gosens, Cuadrado, Estupiñán, you've got Chilwell and James, both from Chelsea on there as well, and Udogie. I know you don't like him because of the mistake he made for U21s, but that's
a bit harsh, Alex. It's not that I don't like him. I mean, we did take the mickey out of him because of his name. I mean, we just started calling him Undoggy.
But he does profile very, very, very well. And you can see, Lewis Hall here would be. I mean, this is one of those players that it doesn't really matter what the price is. He's just really good. Really young, he's going to be great. He's very talented.
But look at that profile picture, right? And the size of his ears, right? And look at the picture I've got. Surely that's not the same kid. Well, maybe it is actually, but he's looks like he's matured a little bit from the days of those FA Cup years. There's no doubt about that.
I mean, matured is definitely the right word, but not just on his looks, but on his game. Like the last few, I mean, I remember me and Billy having a conversation about him before that Chelsea game. I can't remember when we spoke about him, but it was a few months ago. And every time his name crops up, we're like, God, yeah, he's really good, isn't he? He's a really good young player, really good. Every time we talk about him, I've got nothing but good things to say.
Yeah.
So I don't
actually think I've seen him play a bad game, if I'm openly honest. No, the times I've seen Lewis Hall, I've been very, very, very impressed.
When you consider how many players play for Chelsea, I think he's done well to get how many minutes.
Absolutely. And Billy, you were very... you highly praised him when you saw him play against us last season, both occasions. Yeah. He played at St James's Park as well, and he was outstanding.
Yeah, he was the best player they had by a country mile. He literally was. He was fantastic defensively then, and was a threat going forward. And couldn't believe at the time, 18 years of age. You don't expect that of an 18-year-old fullback. The press didn't get to it at all. He was galloping up and down the touchline. Massive, fantastic engine for a young lad. Very dangerous, good pass with the ball, good defender. 18 years of age, and it's going to be a huge star in the making. There's no doubt about it. If he keeps himself fit, stays clear of injuries, this kid's going to be a massive international player for England, no doubt about it.
I actually thought he was a better left back than Chilwell for Chelsea last season. I know Chilwell had injuries and stuff, but when Chilwell played, I mean, look, Chelsea was a shit show last season. That's there's no, you can't argue with that fact that they were an absolute horror show. Trolls, thank you very much for your 200 Norwegian krona, matey. Very, very kind. For my bud, Stu, R.I.P. Really kind. Thank you, Trolls. Barth says that looks like a police mugshot of Lewis Hall. Indeed, it does. Indeed.
To be fair, a lot of their football pictures look like that. They're really bad.
Yeah.
Just look at some of the FIFA shots. Some of them are awful.
Yeah, absolutely. Niall says, I'm 41 and would have loved for Maxi to stay. You never know. He may not pass his medical. Yeah, that's not going to happen. Davey says, I can't believe even Chelsea will be daft enough to sell him. Well, yeah, I mean, look, he's Geordie Toon for Life says he's a midfielder who was playing fullback during Chelsea's transition. I mean, this may open up a whole new thing for us if we can get Lewis Hall, because Noni can play left midfield and left back in case we need to change things in the future. But he's played left back the majority of the times I've seen him.
But this is the new trend, isn't it? Having somebody who's a little bit more versatile as a fullback, who's a bit more physical. If you look at what Pep's doing with the fullback positions, if you look at what obviously Arteta's done with Zinchenko as a sort of a fullback who sort of cuts inside and plays a lot more centrally, we kind of did not the same, but we did something along those lines with Burn. However, Lewis Hall is somebody that could play the fullback and the midfield role. I say midfield role. He's just a little bit more technically sound than Dan Burn. We'll get to that when we talk about Harvey Barnes, but obviously talking about lots of 1-2s and technical link-ups, it's not something that Burns got. Whereas I think somebody like Lewis Hall, on the other hand, would be rather good at things like that.
Absolutely. Keith Dykes, thank you very much for your $20 super chat with the simple quote, #Bruce out. Thank you very much. I also missed a new member at the start. Joe Potter signed up to membership before the show even started. So thank you very much, Joe, and welcome to Members Club. Thank you for your support of the channel. Interesting point that Simon makes. Lewis Hall has been touted. He's got the same agent as Barnes and Livramento, which is very interesting, Alex, because Livramento obviously very, very highly linked now. Looks like he may be the next one through the door. And they've all got the same agent. But just before you comment, we've got a $20 super chat from Pages and Paws for Stu, R.I.P. Thank you very, very much. Very, very kind. So the same agent, Alex. Do you think that makes a big difference?
I mean, it's Wasserman, isn't it? We've looked at them before. Let me bring them up. I think it's worth having a look. God, on Livramento's transfer marks, by the way, you know where it says the current rumours? There's 3 Newcastle United badges with probability statistics next to it. So they're obviously think we're pretty...
Not a surprise.
Pretty in there. My internet just doesn't like transfer mark today. Hang on. Let's open it in a new tab. While that's loading, I don't know, because it won't hurt. Put it that way. It won't hurt because it means we'll have been in contact. That there's the brickwork's been done. The foundations have been laid. We've got the contacts, the connections. We've had conversations prior. It's going to make everything a lot more comfortable. It doesn't guarantee anything though at all. The agents are very clear on that. Everything is a separate deal. Just because we're nicey on one player, their objective is to get the best deal for their player each and every sort of scenario and situation they're in. But it can't help. It definitely means we've got that. We've got not an open door, but at least it's not locked. So it helps. It's definitely not loading, so we'll have to move on. We'll swing back around to it.
His brother and father are actually Newcastle United fans. which is interesting.
Yeah. Chelsea could be up for it as well because they're getting Ian Matson back from. He's had 2 seasons on loan, one at Coventry, one at Burnley. He's progressed his career as a Championship player. They may think he's worth a go going for the Premier League this year. Good player, Ian Matson, and maybe he'll be in their thoughts.
I mean, additionally with Chelsea, with the situation they find themselves in, selling homegrown players or academy-produced players is beneficial for balancing their books, whether they want to or not. It does look like they're probably going to keep Colwill, but anybody that they sell that's academy-produced is amazing for them FFP-wise. So even if they like Lewis Hall and they want to keep him, they might be open to a reasonable fee because it will just help massively in their financial bookkeeping. So it might be one of those that's more realistic than maybe people are thinking.
Well, yeah, I mean, a lot of people say no way Chelsea allowed the lad to leave, but when you think about the left backs that Chelsea already have, it just might.
Keith any other season, yes, but now with their books, might be a bit different.
Indeed. Keith Dykes, thank you very much for gifting another 5 memberships. I know you did that on last night's show as well, mate. That is unbelievable generosity. Thank you. And welcome to those who have benefited from your 3 months membership from Keith. Thank you so much, Keith. Stex says, guys, that was a tremendous moment during your recollections of Stewie. He certainly was known very well here. Kudos to the channel, Stew's favourite. Thank you very much, Stex. Really appreciate that, mate. Chelsea would be mad if they let him go. Well, yeah, but they do have a lot of players there who are very good left backs, let's be honest. I mean, Chilwell, I mentioned him before, but he is a decent player. And of course, Billy, you've just mentioned another one there. So, guaranteed to be playing for Chelsea next season just isn't there. And you don't know what Pochettino's plans are either.
Last season, Chelsea, if you include the Nkunku deal, Chelsea spent 600 million. 600 million. This is a very unique summer in that Chelsea are going to have to make sure they rectify that before the kitchen sink rulebook gets thrown at them, because it will.
And they're still spending now. They still have to consider from Brighton. They've signed 2 or 3 young Brazilian players for quite big money too.
Oh yeah, Angelo Gabriel's gone there, by the way, guys. Yeah. For anybody who hasn't seen my tweets and being very sad, somebody that me and Billy were very excited about, we reviewed on several transfer shows. I literally have done about 4 hours of watching this kid, and he's signed for Chelsea. I am seething because he's amazing.
Yeah, I know.
So for people who say I don't know what I'm talking about and I don't watch football, I have watched so much of this one player who's just gone to Chelsea. And Andre Santos. I'm so annoyed at Chelsea. You would not believe it.
But as David said there, they've got Cucurella as well.
Yeah,
it's not about Cucurella. It's I'm on about the amount of. Sorry, I'm going on a little random rant here. The amount of times I've stayed up at midnight, 1 o'clock in the morning to watch Brazilian fixtures, and these players that have just gone to Chelsea is so infuriating. It's just. Mateusz França, if he does not come to us, I'm going to be so annoyed.
I mean, losing Maxi and França going somewhere else. I mean, Alex
these are the 3. Andre Santos, Angelo Gabriel, and Mateusz França. These are the 3 next big Brazilians tipped to be amazing. And if all 3 end up at Chelsea, I'm going to be gutted.
Right, just away from the transfers for a little bit. This was released this morning, and I bloody love it, by the way.
Me too.
This is the Newcastle United 3rd kit. I wish it was our away kit and the green one was the 3rd kit. However, that's not the case. But this is, I ordered me and Phoebe a shirt this morning.
Me too.
Absolutely love it. It is a beautiful design, and hats off to Castor. It is the home kit, which I'm wearing now, and the 3rd kit are bloody delicious. I suppose the 3rd kit has to grow on me for a bit, but Billy, lovely piece of kit.
I think that's the best away kit I've seen us have for years. It's a fantastic. It's just everything about it's nice. It's slightly darker than last year's blue. I like it. I really like it. So much so that 9 o'clock this morning I was straight there. Couldn't help myself.
Have you ordered it, Alex?
No.
Oh no!
I wish I hadn't have ordered the away kit now because I prefer the 3rd kit, and I don't know. I might have to do some financial hocus pocus shuffling around because, I genuinely don't know why the away kit is a round collar. but these other two are pointed. It's just no consistency at all. I don't know. I like the third kit. I might have to wait though, unfortunately, because it's as you mentioned this morning, £70 a shirt, releasing 3 shirts. It's a lot of money.
I mean, it is a lot of money. I mean, the junior ones were 55
I don't know why you were
quid.
surprised, though. Of course, it's going to be the same price.
I know, but it does surprise me every time, to be honest. I have to, but you know what it is? With the away kit, the green one, I'm just not sure about it, right? I'm not sure, whether, like we spoke about last night, are those patterned designs supposed to be that way? Are they supposed to be a little bit different? I don't know.
I'm still playing misplaced pass bingo, by the way. So if anybody wants to get involved with this, you can tweet Paul or tweet me or Billy. We're going to do misplaced pass bingo. So we're going to pick a fixture from 1 to 38. And if anybody wants to message us your answer, your prediction, I'm going to guess which is the first fixture in the season that we're going to pass to absolutely sod all, because we can't see each other because we're wearing green shirts. It's going to happen once if somebody's like standing on the line, so their shorts blend into like the line. So it will be just pick a match day, 1 to 38. Whoever wins, you get a round of applause. Definitely going to happen, I guarantee.
A round of applause. Not something.
Maybe a chocolate biscuit.
Yeah. Sean says, does anybody else think that Jamal Lewis has a future? How played him further forward the last couple of games? Not too sure myself.
I mean, we did do a show, didn't we, Paul, on Patreon?
We've done a podcast on Patreon about Mr. Lewis and about what his future might bring.
I mean, it's weird that because we spent 25 minutes talking about Jamal Lewis and whether he'd got a future. And we both kind of, after at the beginning, we were both very negative, and at the end of the podcast, we were like, maybe. And then he ends up playing 2 games on the wing in a row, which is surprising.
And he's not linked with any move away, by the way. We have to state that there's nothing come out in the media about Jamal Lewis.
There's a few in the nose, but nothing media.
Soddy in the nose. I mean, that means no to me. And of course, as Barth has just said there, Joe Linton did get a visa eventually and is now on his way to the States, which is great news. I can't see him being involved on Sunday night, Monday morning, Billy. It'll probably be, the second and third games that we'll see Joe. Yeah,
we'll definitely see him the second and third games. I imagine a tiny bit of jet lag getting over to the States. Not training as much as other players. Yeah, second and third game will definitely be involved, I would imagine. And it's good news for us, really, because we haven't seen him so far this season, have we? He needs to get up to the swing of things as well for the first game of the season, because it's an integral part of our side.
Well, of course, it would have been devastating had he not been able to go to the States because, obviously he wants to get his fitness up, he wants to get his match practice up, and he would have had to play. I'm under no illusion that he would have played for the youngsters in their friendly, of course, at Carlisle. That was mentioned yesterday if he didn't get the visa, but apparently the visa came through very late last night, and the Americans decided to say yes, he can come. Which, as Alex mentioned last night, it was an absolute farce. The fact that he couldn't get one, and we see other people just waltzing around the world. What was left on Lewis Hall's contract, Alex?
Lewis Hall's contract. I can certainly have a look because I've got him up now, I think. Oh, no, I've got Livermento up. Lewis Hall. 10 million euro market value is definitely going to be more than that. Contract expires June the 30th, 2026. So 3 seasons left.
I mean, what are we valuing Lewis Hall at? I mean, there's been no transfer fee banded around or anything like that, or what his valuation is. But off the top of your heads now, guys, what would you say that Lewis Hall would command as a transfer fee? Bearing in mind he's played over 600 minutes in Premier League action already at only 18 years old, which is quite staggering.
I mean, left backs then generally don't go as much. Full backs in general don't go for as much as midfielders or strikers. But I mean, I'd pay 30 million for him. Absolutely no danger.
I think that's a fair shout. He is a left-footed left back. I mean, Transfermarkt has him at 10 million, but I think that's ludicrous. I think when you factor in the academy he's come through, which is Chelsea, who in the last sort of 5 to 10 years have been producing some amazing players. Arguably one of the best academies in the world. He's a left-footed left back. He's English. He's already done it to a point in the Premier League. He's passed the eye test for us. He's passing the statistical test for us, even if it is a small sample size. There's buckets of potential. I think 30 million is a minimum. I think if you bid anything less than that, Chelsea are going to just laugh at you, to be honest.
I'm thinking the same, at least 30 million. Spike Milligan, thank you for your £50 super chat. Unbelievable, buddy. And hashtag Bruce out in memory of Stu. Thank you so much, Spike. That is incredible. Predator says, I think Chelsea might be open to a loan with an option to buy. Would that suit us better with FFP, do you think?
Possibly. I'd rather be an obligation to buy.
Well, an obligation. Yeah, absolutely. Not an option, an obligation. Come the January window or something, and then interesting point that. David says, Jesper Lindstrom would be fantastic at some point. Absolutely. But the thing is, if we go for Livramento and Lewis Hall, and we manage to get those two players through the door, I think that is incredible. And that suddenly turns the transfer window around, bringing in Tonali, Barnes, Livramento, and Lewis Hall. I think those four signings would be fabulous.
Yeah, I think we still, as Alex has alluded to on many occasions, think we need a right-sided centre-back, though. And I think the decisive one might happen because, as I say, they're actively looking for centre-back themselves, Monaco are. So.
Mm-hmm. You beat me to it there. Yeah, they're looking at... who was it? Salisu, that's the one. They've bid for Salisu, who is obviously a centre-half. So it looks like they're actively looking for replacements for Disasi leaving.
Well, there is rumours on the media mill that we are still in discussions with Disasi, but we know Manchester United are interested in him as well. But is Disasi really going to get the minutes with Manchester United? I'm not so sure he will. But with us, I think he will. I think it enables Fabian Schär to extend his career, I would have thought, by not playing every single game and getting his head blown off every single match either. So I'd love him. Sujay, thank you very much for your $5 Singapore. First time catching a live show. Big thanks to everyone at the Toon Review for all the content. Top channel. Keep up the great work. Thank you very much, Sujay. And thank you for tuning in all the way over there in Singapore. Alex, you've got a little cheesy grin on your face.
Yeah,
it worries me when that happens.
We haven't seen it yet. It's literally just as we went live. Adam P's done the Rocky movie, climbing up the stairs in Philadelphia, and put it on his Twitter.
Well, I saw Keith Downey do it before. I saw Keith Downey's photo earlier on today. He was doing the Rocky. He was sort of doing the Rocky pose. And I wondered how long it would take Adam to do that.
But Adam looks absolutely knackered. Bless him.
Yeah, I'll tell you something now. It's steep. It's really steep, and I couldn't do it now.
Stairs, lots of them.
Lots of them. Why would you want to run upstairs, for God's sake?
It's better than falling upstairs, to be fair.
Oh, you had to get it in, didn't you?
Susan.
Yeah. You had to get it in. Sometimes used to are absolute twats. Anyway, Lewis says, did anyone see what Theo Walcott had to say about Livramento? Compared him to an early Gareth Bale.
I'm very careful about when I listen to ex-players' opinions.
Yeah, but I don't like this when they compare players to other players. Each player is their own individually. And, all I'll say is if he's anywhere near Gareth Bale's standard, then fine. Look, we've got a player and a half there if he's anywhere near like that. But I don't like saying, he's the next Bale or he's the next.
I'd be careful.
I did see him. I have to say this, but I did see, and I retweeted it with just thousands of laughing emojis. The Man United fan from overseas decided to put up a post. Billy's laughing because he knows what I'm going to say. Put up a post saying that Bruno Fernandes is a million times the player Zinedine Zidane was. I haven't heard such bullshit like that for a long, long time, and
fans of the club were unified in their hatred for that man and that post.
There is a proper plastic fan right there who probably never seen Zidane play. Because if he had seen Zidane play, certainly in Zidane's prime, there is no way on earth he would compare Bruno Fernandes. And for the fact that Bruno Fernandes is the second best Bruno in the Premier League. So he's nowhere near Zinedine Zidane. What an absolute ridiculous thing to say. Danielle's in the chat, guys. So good evening to Danielle. Barry says, I need to get the new kit. Absolutely. Absolutely. Champions League top, not third kit, says Simon. Well, they've announced it as the third kit, mate. So maybe they will wear it in the Champions League, but they have announced it as their official third kit. Jock says it's a sexy top. It certainly is. Nick says it's filthy. Dwayne says, I love that kit with the muscle emojis. Lots of people are buying it. Paige says, I love that there's no color block behind the seller logo. Very nice. Geordie Toon for Life says, Alex, don't worry, Mirandinia is coming back. Wow. I
think we were linked to another Brazilian today.
Christ, I thought you were going to say, I think we were linked to Mirandinia.
No,
and I was going to say,
no.
What? Have I gone back in time?
Victor Hugo?
Is it him? Yeah, it's the other.
Yes.
Is it the Flamengo midfielder that I saw the other week? I think it is.
Yes.
Victor Hugo, yeah, because I watched him the other week when I watched Flamengo. Yeah, I'll have to do some more research.
He's a good player by the sounds of things. Fuzzy Hack says, love all three kits. Need one, but getting one down to Cornwall is harder than I thought.
I mean, just order it. It just takes time.
I have put my trust in Castor because, as you know, I have never had a problem with Castor's deliveries, ever. They've arrived within a few days. I also talk a lot of shite. I did actually look on other websites for it first to see if I could order it on there, but none of them had
to honor their delivery.
Well,
promise. If it's going to take 10 days, do 10 days. If it's
they've
5,
put 7 to 10 days now. They've
increased it again.
They've put due to exceedingly high demands.
3 to 5, 5 to 7, 7 to 10.
7 to 10 now.
Hire somebody who understands logistics, pay them well, and then you won't have this issue. Yeah. It's not good enough. You're a multinational company. Do better.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Very
There's
simple.
A few people saying in the chat it's the Champions League kit. No, if you go and look, who cares?
I'm angry at Castor. Just do better.
But Newcastle did announce it as their third kit, not the Champions League kit. They said third kit. But if they play in the Champions League, I'm perfectly happy because I want to see that strip more than that horrible green piece of crap.
I mean, I prefer 90% of our Champions League games were played in black and white, to be honest.
Well, absolutely, yes. But if we have to. If there's a strip we have to wear, then rather than that green snot,
good for branding, though, isn't it? Like, to promote ourselves globally, if we're in the black and white, it's traditional. It will help.
And let's face it, this home kit is bloody beautiful. By the way, it's stunning.
I've got the old one on today.
Well, the number 4.
I don't like it anymore. Now I've got the new one.
No, well, I didn't really like it at all, Alex. I mean, there's a big number 4 on the front of it, to be honest. It didn't go down well, that shirt.
At the time we wore that actual strip, that was the catchphrase of all the fans, because of course Steve Bruce was here, and people in the crowd would often say 4 kit.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. It just wasn't nice. Tony says, I love the third kit, released 5 days too late for me. I Like Coffee says, I will wait till there's a discount sale too before I buy the Newcastle kits.
I mean, they've missed a trick there. Why don't you release it when everyone's been paid? What are you releasing it for on the 21st for? That's dumb.
Well, some people get paid the 20th, 24th, 26th, 27th.
90% of people get paid at the end of the month.
Well, Alex, I don't think that's a right statistic. You don't know that. You can't come out with a stat like that you don't know.
People monthly pay do, to be fair.
Well, I've been in jobs where I've been paid on the 20th and 24th.
Yeah, there are some people who do, but it's not yet the 24th, is it, Paul?
Well, 90% is a big stat to make, Alex. It's interesting.
I'm sure it's close to
Why are we arguing about this? Who cares?
Because it's important. We want them to fix this aspect of the club. Things like the box office, ticketing, kits. It's not the new owner's fault. They're going to iron out these creases for the next few years. But it would be nice if they can work on these things, and they will be listening to feedback from fans.
I know that, but I think a kit release, there's more important things like the box office, like the ticketing system, memberships. Nobody knows what the hell's happening with memberships this season. Nobody's heard about the memberships. It's a few weeks towards the start of the season. I'm not sure what's going on with that. Why am I seeing raw meat emojis? Oh, well, yes, I know, because Alex is on again.
Guys, I'm happy to be fine, honestly. I'm all right.
Yeah, we'll okay. Well, we're 40 minutes into the show and you haven't kicked off yet, so that's a start. Jim says, do Newcastle get more money from Castore if you buy it from the club shop? Well, given that Mike Ashley did the deal, God knows. I wouldn't assume, guys, that Newcastle United get. Well, I don't know. I mean, they're selling Newcastle United. I don't know. You guys have any clue?
They must do, because they must buy them from the Castore at a cheaper price and sell them on for a profited price. I imagine. I don't know. Don't quote me as fact, but I imagine that'd be the way. Surely that's how business works, right?
We'll see. Well, might never see, actually. Bart says, I remember winning the pools, guessing where the ball was. Our dad took the money. God, do you remember that?
Spot the ball.
Well, actually, Susan wants to do a spot the ball competition on the Toon Review at some point. I don't know how the hell we're going to do that. I think it's by means of putting the picture up on the screen and saying, where is the ball? But I don't know how we're going to get replies. Whether some people use the phones and stick a little X on and then email it back to us and stuff like that. But I remember
you'd have to grid it, wouldn't you? You'd have to grid it and like A, B, C, D, E, F, G, 1, 2, 3, 4.
Absolutely, yeah. And I think I remember the pools and spot the ball. I used to, my nana and granddad were always doing the pools. They loved the pools, and they always, let me do the spot the ball and things like that. I don't know if I ever won. I can't remember back then, but it used to be very much a weekly thing. Spot the ball in the pools.
Imagine Chris Wood spot the ball. Everyone would be putting the X's in the crowd, wouldn't they?
Well, higher than the crowd, Billy. Probably if you had pictures of the outer galaxy, you could mark. Is it heading towards Jupiter, Venus, Uranus? Don't say anything, Billy.
Well, it'd be behind him as he's miskicked it.
Well, yeah. Kieran says, evening all at the Toon Review. Little late. Hope you're all well. Thanks, Kieran. Evening, lads, to B. Taylor. Mark says, Alex, surely Ireland or Nigeria, even Mexico would have picked up on the green shirt thing by now.
Yeah, no, I understand your point. Nigeria's is a different shade. Nigeria's kits are really nice. They were really in demand. They're old. I think it was the 2018 World Cup kit. That Nigeria kit was really nice. Mexico's is darker. I just don't like it, honestly. I lived in Poland in Wrocław, and the club Śląsk Wrocław play in green, dark green, and I have seen far too many times people pass to nobody. I must have seen 50 odd matches for that club. When you watch more matches, I mean, how many matches have you watched of Mexico? Probably not 50. It does happen, I promise you. So this is why it probably won't happen super often, but in a game of fine margins, when we want to be challenging, I just think it's just inviting unnecessary mistakes, which is why we're doing a 1-38. Guess when it's going to happen? Because I promise you it's going to happen. It will be funny.
Well, there is,
especially if Jeff Hendrick's playing.
Well, he won't be playing.
He's invisible anyway. It doesn't matter what shirt.
Yeah, but the chances of that are slightly slim. However,
put a high vis
what I have noticed, guys, is there is a lot of teams this season who have a lot of green in their away kits. The Arsenal one is sickly. I mean, that is just
it's disgusting.
And Valencia. I mean, Valencia's is basically, I don't know whether they've joined it Just Stop Oil, but it's just orange. It's minging. It's terrible. Carl says, Eddie must think he can make Jamal Lewis into a world beater. The bloke needs to swallow his pride. He can't turn shit into gold. Wait, did it with Joel Linton?
He can.
He absolutely can.
Did it with Emil Kraft?
Did indeed.
Well, I'm not sure it was gold. I think it might have been bronze. Let's not go too far. He was adequate. He wasn't great.
There he is again.
Who?
Emil Kraft. I don't think.
Alex, I think you're doing him a disservice.
Okay, he's right what he says, but
I'll go for silver, not bronze. I'll go for silver. Maybe not gold, but I'll go for silver.
He was worse than shit when he started, so I guess
he was terrible. The Swedish Cafu didn't turn into Cafu.
We're going to grade it from A to F. He was an F, and then he got moved up to a C. He got moved up to passable.
I'd say he was a G. You're going A to F.
Well,
probably you.
There was that stat before he improved. I think we looked back at his long ball statistics because we were comparing him to Trippier when Trippier got injured. And I think Emil Kraft had made one successful long ball in 12 months. We were like, can Kraft do Trippier's job? No, not in a very different way.
Luke says he's got the new Northampton Town Puma away kit, but he hasn't got it yet, but it's ordered and paid for. Matthew wants to know, is there a Toon Review Fantasy Premier League? Indeed, there is. If you look back to last week's shows, which was it Thursday or Friday? Friday we did it.
Friday,
Last Friday, we did the first Premier League show, Fantasy Premier League. So go back and watch that after this show. You will have all the links that you need to join the league. Foxy says França has Palace and Chelsea, who will loan him to Strasbourg as his options. As of today, linked with France's teammate, Victor Hugo, who's better, to be honest.
I mean, they're different players.
Did anyone see that the Toon fan went to Maxi's house to wish him well? Yes, I saw that. I saw a photo of it anyway. Are you going to watch Newcastle live, says Steve? Not in America. There was some problems with me getting a visa, so I couldn't go. But we are bringing you the games live. Live commentary of the games Sunday with me and Alex. We will start that show at 11:45 p.m. with a midnight kickoff. Very much looking forward to it against Aston Villa, and we will bring you all of the games. Have what you want.
It'll be an exciting one because obviously Villa have got Diaby through, which is very controversial. And we play Villa first game of the season, so it's going to be crazy exciting.
Right. Do you want to bring Harvey Barnes' details on the screen, Alex?
Yeah, so we're going to look, if you don't mind, at Mr. Kev. Oh, God. Hang on. I've got... So Edit Kev on Twitter, who... for people who watch the show regularly, will be aware of Kev. Let's just actually bring it up properly. Oh, God. Yeah, so he sent me this today before he posted it out on Twitter. So we've zoomed in a little bit. We're going to have to hash it. So, again, a massive shout out to Kev for sending this to me before he sent it out. And obviously, I've got to shout him out because I'm going to reference this because it's an amazing thread. So if you do want some decent analysis, I would recommend following Kev on Twitter because he does some great stuff. So Harvey Barnes reported £38 million. There are some rumours that it's 30 in add-ons. It's not 38. It's by the by. And all of a sudden, I don't know if you guys have seen, but Maxi's fees apparently jumped from 25 to 35 million euros somehow.
I did see that earlier on. Yeah, I don't think we'll ever know the
between us price. And us has obviously gone very well, which is great.
Yeah,
and
him.
Anyway, 143 matches, amazing. So what's he going to bring? Let's scroll down and have a look. So I am going to quote Kev because he's better at analysis than I am. So I'm just going to follow his thread because it's really, really good. So why not? So most of his time at Leicester City Football Club, Barnes has played on the left wing. He's right-footed, prefers to cut inside, back to shoot, pass, cross. He does have the ability to use his left foot as well. He is quite famous for his 1-2s and his cutting inside. You can see the majority of his minutes were played as a left winger, a few at left mid, and then odds and sods sort of as a left forward, a tiny bit in midfield. And this was last season. So since becoming a regular starter for Leicester City in 2019, Barnes has contributed 21 assists, 34 goals in just shy of 10,000 minutes on the pitch. So this is joint 10th of all the wingers who have played more than 1,800 minutes in that time in the EPL in the Premier League. So you can see he's keeping some good company here. He's pretty much the same. Well, he is the same as James Maddison, as his old colleague. Then you've got Kulusevski, Rashford, Mane, Sterling, Foden. You've got Son, Mahrez, Jota, and Salah, which is quite filthy. That is filthy. So since 2019, that's incredible. Goals and assists. So you can see why we've signed him. So Kev alludes to the fact that his XG plus his XA is actually 0.37 per 90. So on this graph, it says here he's 0.52 per 90, but the expected statistics are a lot lower. So that is a massive overperformance of 0.15 per 90. So why is that overperformance? So shooting, you can see he scored 34 goals since the 2019-20 season from 28.14 XG. So he is running hot with his shooting. He scored 6 more goals than he should have done since the 19-20 season. You can see his shot map. He's generally taking them from good areas. There are a few pretty ambitious shots here, but generally they're in a good position. So the majority of this came for the 22-23 season. So this is the one we've talked about when we've looked at Barnes in recent shows. 13 goals a season. Everybody's quoting 13 goals, 13 goals. Yeah, we know he scored 13 goals a season, but it was only from an XG of 7.64. So he massively overperformed this season. So obviously there is the question, is this sustainable? Is he going to be a decent goal threat for us? You know, is there a Miggy question? Is he going to be able to, you know, sustain this kind of output? So if we have a look, 2.3 shots per 90, 43% of his 2.43 shots on per 90 on target. So we're going to use the post-shot expected goals model here. So this is measuring the chance of a shot on target resulting in a goal. So that, the PSXG, is 33.34, and he scored his 34 goals. So when you actually use the post-shot expected goals value, which is a better metric, it is fine. It just basically means he's very good quality. He's good at shooting. So it's not really a massive overperformance. It's just that he's quite clinical, which is great, which is what we want. So not the case if you're goalkeeping. So he basically just alludes to the fact he's been doing this for quite a number of seasons now. He's got, and then this is a nice clip of his trademark one too. We won't show that because copyright exists.
Yeah, so I was gonna jump in there. Had you press play there?
So ball carrying ability. So he's not a player that beats his man regularly. So he is a reliable ball carrier, as Kev alludes to. He does love his 1-2s. You can see a lot of his completed carry. So this is a graphic of where his completed carries are and like where the success rates are. So 78 carries into the final third, a success rate of 79.5%, which is quite tidy. That's decent. So while Barnes doesn't often beat his man entirely, he has the ability to consistently make space or shoot or create a chance for a teammate. We're not going to look at that. So this is a better metric of it. So this is a nice little graphic that shows his passing sonar. So you can see here, so this is the opposition goal, and you can see in these quadrants here, it's very, very dangerous passing. He's passing it lots of forwards and lots of little dinky movements around in that left zone just before he gets into the box. And it's just really, really dangerous. It's exactly what we want. So generally from these areas that Barnes does his damage. So these are his key passes and assists from the last season. So you can see where they've all come from. Obviously, this was a great one from back here. But this is where the majority of these key passes and assists have come from. A lot of cutbacks to the edge of the box. And these are ones resulting in shots as well. You can see the shot map. So here Kev goes on a big rant about the golden zone. So for anybody who's not into football, nerd detail, it's the golden zone is this little bit in the box where you're going to score most of the shots that come from that. I think he alludes to that there. There you go. You can see the golden zone here. So if you're taking shots from the golden zone, there you go. 82% of goals are scored from the golden zone. So cutbacks are the most likely type of crosses to be scored as well. So it's just improving our odds of scoring goals, essentially. So despite his efficiency, it's important to realize that Barnes' assist numbers have, generally speaking, also been boosted. So yeah, Jamie Vardy, for the longest of times, was a freak at breaking the XG model. There was a period of time in football where it was Ronaldo, Messi, and Jamie Vardy who just didn't care that the XG model existed. They were like, you should have scored 5 goals. You've scored 25 goals. It just didn't matter that he just scored from ludicrous areas with low value opportunities, because Vardy before his decline was absolutely world class. And I won't have anything bad said about Jamie Vardy, who was far better than people give him credit for. As you can see here, Vardy scored 5 goals from 1.67 expected assists from Barnes. So Barnes ideally should have only got 1, maybe 2 assists out of that, and Vardy gave him 5 assists, because Vardy could most certainly finish his dinner for quite a long time. And this was only in the 21-22 season, so it wasn't even that long ago, to be fair. Decision making, yeah, okay. So this is a graphic comparing Leicester to us. So will Barnes be able to replicate his assist numbers at NUFC? Tricky question. Very true. So at Leicester, he's played in a largely counter-attacking team that doesn't press aggressively as us. So I'm going to have to zoom out for this a little bit. So you can see we are the blue. We are kind of dwarfing the Leicester graphic there. The only thing that Leicester were doing okay with is high press shots, goalkeeper pass length. It's not great. Whereas we are absolutely destroying on most of the positive metrics there with like XG shots, box cross percentage, counter-attacking shots. Yeah, mental. Our sex, that's the wrong word. Set piece XG, Castore, I'll take it. I'll take the L, we'll move on. Our set piece XG is through the roof. And as I nearly said it again, as everybody knows, we were terrible at scoring from set pieces. We should have scored a bucket load more and we should have beaten Man United in the league position, but we didn't. Anyway, that's by the by. And we have the next graphic here of the 22-23 season for defensive output. So where are have we got counter pressing on here? No, we don't. We don't have counter pressing on here. Anyway, you can see defensive statistics. We are amazing. Leicester were not so amazing. So let's move on. So whenever Leicester won the ball back, Barnes would generally have space to run into, but further distance to travel to goal. So this is very much think back Maxi 4 years ago. This is how Barnes was having to play last season. Whenever he'd pick the ball up, he'd have so much space to have to try and run into because they were just not retaining the ball as much and they were playing far more counter-attacking football. Whereas with us, Barnes is obviously going to start off a lot closer to goal and we're going to have more of the ball. He's going to get more opportunities. So hopefully he's going to be a lot more dangerous for us. So pressures, this is the bit I was trying to get to. So off the ball numbers, defensive statistics for Harvey Barnes. It's not an area where he excels, as Kev points out, but it is better than Maxi's pressures. So he is putting up 3.1 pressures per 90, which is more than Maxi's, which was under 10. So it is a small improvement. Additionally, the positions in which he's winning the ball back is more useful to us stylistically. So as you can see here on the left, zoom out, Maxi's winning the ball back kind of just before the halfway line. And if we move it over to Harvey Barnes's, he is winning it back considerably more beyond the halfway line, which plays into our high press, winning the ball in the final third. You know, it just makes a little bit more sense with the way we play. So that's definitely something to take into consideration. This is the same thing where he's winning the ball higher up. Yeah. Maxi's gone. We know. There you go. That's the end of the thread. Here's Harvey Barnes. Big smile. He's going to be our player. It's pretty much done. There's some statistics. He's arguably, it's not great reading on this FB ref. I would implore you to go and have a look at his scouting data from previous seasons. It is considerably better. He was in an absolute, dog's dinner of a Leicester team last year. Another great thing to point out is his aerial duels rate is extremely high as well, which is something we pride ourselves on. And the way we play is everybody's very good in the air, apart from Joe Willock because he needs to jump. This is also wrong. So 5'8.5". Kev actually sent me a photo a few weeks ago of Harvey Barnes next to Emil Franchi or Franchi. Can't remember how you said. Sorry, Emil. And Emil's like 5'11", 5'10". Barnes is way taller. This is wrong. This is 100% wrong. Barnes is like 5'11", like Joe Willock height, maybe even a little bit higher.
Yeah, so, 5'8.5" is a little bit on the small side.
He's taller, stronger, better in the air than this is giving him credit for. He's definitely taller than that. That's not correct. Don't listen to that.
And but yeah, there you go. He's through the roof, though. That's the question.
Well, I think look, I mean, you can argue this till the cows come home. The bottom line is Maxi's going. He's coming in. I'm excited to see what Harvey Barnes does, Billy, because I think he'll excel under Eddie Howe.
What he's got that Max hasn't got is the ability to finish. He's a fantastic finisher. He's clinical. And he can score with one touch. He can take a couple of touches and score. Just got an eye for goal. And it's a part of the game that we haven't had in our squad, to be fair. And if Barnes can bring similar kind of statistics to us, it's going to benefit us no end. Those games we've been drawing 0-0, we'll start winning them. And that's extra points every season, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's not just about that, because our expected goals was the 4th highest in the Premier League last year. We put up great XG numbers. It was just far too many players in our team just couldn't finish their dinner. Joe Willock couldn't hit a barn door, although he had a great season. He was wonderful to watch. He improved so much. He massively underperformed his XG. He should have got more. as should most of our defenders. It genuinely, and Sean Longstaff also underperformed his XG. Barnes is one of those players that is hyperclinical and generally will either match it or overperform his XG. And we could just do with somebody who's a bit more clinical, really.
Absolutely.
And can I just put a final thank you to Kev as well? So before, there will be one or two keyboard warriors out there. Yes, I didn't prep all that. That was all Kev. Please go follow him on Twitter. He is amazing.
Yeah, he is.
So
thank you to Kev for that. Louis says, personally, I think it's a big downgrade. Not even just a downgrade, but a big one. Not many better wingers who can do what Maxi does, with the exceptions of Mbappe, Cavara, Neymar, and Rafa Leao. I'm sorry, Louis, you can't put Maxi in the same bracket as those players. I mean,
you can for his dribbling. His dribbling is elite. It's world class. But the other
there's no end product to his. That's where he lets himself down.
Yeah, but the expectation was we were hoping we could maybe see that this season, but we're not going to get the chance, so it's irrelevant now.
Yeah.
I mean, but nobody can question Maxi's dribbling ability. It was
somebody mentioned a good point earlier today when they were talking about, lots of people saying, "Oh, Maxi saved us in that season with Steve Bruce," but did Maxi really save us, or was it Joe Willock?
It was a bit of both.
Interesting.
I mean, that was a complete accident. That wasn't even.
Well,
there's no way he planned for his lone midfielder who was a child to bang in like 10 goals.
Yeah. No. When Willox came in the last 7-8 games of the season, Maxi did that for the whole season as the only outlet in the side.
How many goals did he get?
I don't know. But
he normally got like. Maxi was generally like 4 goals, 4 assists, 5 goals, 5 assists. He normally floated around that kind of stuff.
Yeah. But that is the end of tonight's show, guys. Thank you so much to everybody for tuning in. We are going to be doing some more podcasts, recording them over this weekend for the Patreon page. So if you want to go and check the Patreon page out, the link for that is in the description for this show underneath. But thank you so much to everyone who was super chatted tonight and also joined up as members. Really, really do appreciate it. Thank you again to the Mod Squad. Thank you to Alex and Billy. But thank you to you guys out there. It's been a really good show under very sad circumstances tonight, obviously. Those who don't know, one of our longest subscribers unfortunately passed away, Stu Flyboy Ray. We will really, really miss him. This show was dedicated to him tonight and his family. And we hope they get a little bit of peace and in the next few days. And well, whatever suffering Stu was going through, he's out of it now. But listen, thank you very much. We will, of course, have shows over the weekend. Keep an eye on the channel itself, but make sure you've got the notifications switched on. And if you have enjoyed tonight's show, don't forget to give it the thumbs up. And, of course, subscribe. If you're new, it is completely free and help us towards that 22,000 mark. We are very, very, very close. So pass it around, share the channel, do what you can to help us get there, guys. But don't forget, we definitely have the live commentary of Newcastle Villa on Sunday/Monday. midnight, we will start the show with me and Alex with 8:12 midnight kickoff. Really looking forward to it. So get some sleep in early, wake up, set your alarms, and join us for the next for that couple of hours. And let's see the Toon perform again and basically stick it to the Villa. But the big game comes on the 12th of August, of course, but it'll give a good indication. So lots to look forward to over the weekend on the Toon Review. Have an absolutely great time, whatever you're doing, guys. And once again, R.I.P. Stu. We will miss you, fella. Good night.
Bruce out.
Come back and check out some green.